If you look at bank resolution, in the retail terms, is bank resolution. So you are trying to solve a problem. Banks, like a normal human being, have also challenges. The way a human being, sometimes you can be sick and you go to see a doctor. So banks also sometimes get to that position where they start experiencing some challenges. And when they start experiencing those challenges, that's when now we step in to try and see what are these challenges they are facing and is it something that can be addressed. Our bank resolution mandate is in our act, and I'll simplify it as it is said, is to receive, liquidate and wind up an institution that we are appointed as by the Central Bank of Kenya. So when we say about now the resolution from the mandate side, it means then that when a bank starts showing some signs of instability, we are required to step in, analyze and see what is the problem, and then come with a solution. That journey has 3 critical steps. And the first step is called receivership. Receivership happens when a bank has started showing some signs. For example, a bank would be having liquidity problems. When we say a bank has liquidity problems, is where a bank is not able to meet its obligations. In receivership, when we are appointed by the Central Bank of Kenya, we step in. What do? The first thing you do is to ring fence or to protect any claims and preserve the value of that bank. How do you do that? You declare a moratorium on payments. In a simpler language is that you stop making any payments. When you stop making any payments, you are preserving that bank so that not everyone comes and start taking what they have. Then after now you declare a moratorium in payments, you do a detailed analysis and try to identify what could be ailing the bank. When you have analyzed that and identified the problem, you make the decision starts by you making recommendations to the central bank. Receivership then requires to be very prompt and make the right decision within the shortest time possible to ensure then the bank goes back to business, all and depositors are able to continue trading with the bank. Liquidation is the stage 2. Stage 2 is where now you find during the bank resolution, you have dealt with what needed to be done. The bank that you thought can go back and the customers continue transacting with it has gone back to the market. But then you are left with another portion which is spoiled or which is now bad. That is now what you take to liquidation. What does liquidation mean? Liquidation means whatever has remained after you have the good bank has been taken over and the depositors are transacting with it, you need now to realize or to sell or to dispose those assets and pay any amount that the depositors could be owed by the bad bank or by this part of the bad bank. Maybe to make it simpler, it's just like if you have a vehicle. A vehicle could have an engine. You have replaced the engine with a new engine. Then this old engine, you dismantle it and sell part by part to see whether you can generate some value. It's the same thing that happens with the bank. So when we are at the liquidation, we seek to realize the remaining assets or to sell them, accumulate that money and pay the depositors. If you lodge your claim within 30 days, actually we will commence payment within 30 days. But internally, whenever someone lodges their claim, of course there are requirements that you need to put into to support your claim. One, we need to know you are the genuine depositor. So there are some identification documents you require. One, a copy of your ID, a copy of your PIN, and you fill a form. Then we'll confirm that information and pay you. We normally pay within a period of 4 days. So when you lodge your claim, we seek to ensure that that amount is paid within 4 days. So that as a depositor, then you can get your money. How is the money paid? The money is paid directly to your bank account. So you must have a bank account so that the money can be transferred to you. You don't come here and we pay you over the counter. We don't have a counter, but we pay directly to your account. But going forward, we are seeking to ensure that some of these amounts can be paid through the mobile phones. Any remit within the mobile, the M-Pesa remit or the mobile money remit, then can be paid directly. So that will ensure that even you access your money faster and more convenient the moment we validate you. So after making that payout, we go to the second journey. The second journey in liquidation is then selling the remaining assets of this bank. We'll accumulate that money, and when we accumulate that money, we will declare additional payments to the depositors and creditors. This what it means is that after being paid the 500, it's not the end of the road. The remaining assets of this bank will be realized and you'll be paid more money over time. Most of our depositors forget that. There is an assumption that when you are paid the 500, it is the end of the road. It is not the end of the road. Along the way, as we continue recovering, then we'll pay you more money. How do we recover? As a bank has two arms. There are people who put money and there are people who borrow. The people who have borrowed in a collapsed bank are expected to continue making payments to pay for their loans. And we follow them to ensure that they pay those loans. The money that they pay, then we take care of it. After we accumulate enough, we make additional payments to the depositors and the creditors. So when the liquidation process we consider it substantially completed, that process of realizing the assets and paying the depositors, we go to the other stage. We call it winding up. This we say is the last stage in the bank resolution process. What does it involve? At that stage, what you are saying is that all the assets that were recoverable for this institution have been recovered. All the money that we have collected, we have paid the people who are owed by this bank, the depositors and creditors, and there is nothing else we can do. You find banks don't fail by default, so they fail by choice. Why do I say by choice? You find sometimes is a scheme by the owners and in collusion with the management to siphon money. So as they do that, they destroy the evidence. So when you get into that bank, you'll find David had a loan, but there is no documentation to support that loan. So even if you try to claim from David, you have no proof, even if you go to court. So documentation is a big challenge that we face. Another big challenge is that sometimes you may have even those assets you want to sell, but the quality is so poor. So you find someone has an asset of value of 2 million or 5 million, but was given a loan of 20 million. So even if you are to recover the asset, it may never pay the depositor. That is another challenge. Also, you find another big challenge in bank resolution is the now I would call the social media. There is a lot of distortion of facts. And you'll find most of the time people want to sell a message that is not the truth. And what happens in that process? The depositor may start buying the wrong side and seeing the liquidator or the receiver, the savior, as a problem. So that is another big challenge where depositors and other stakeholders are misinformed through the social media platform. And you see, as a bank, as a liquidator or as a receiver, then you have also to do what is right. Then another big challenge that we have also is storage of the data. Data is the most critical asset in the era we are in. So you find some of these banks, the information is so corrupted that when you try to access that data, it gives you a lot of misleading conclusions. So that is another big challenge that we have in bank resolution. Then there is also a challenge of raw public awareness. For example, I did say that when a bank is placed under liquidation, we embark on a journey. After paying the 500, we embark on a journey of collecting more money to make additional payments, which we call dividends. But when we declare those dividends, you find most of the depositors are not aware, because sometimes it takes a very long time, even 10, 15 years before you declare additional payments. So others lost hope. Sometimes others have lost interest. So that low level of public awareness is also a challenge, because we have the money, we want to pay, we have put it out, but the owners are not coming in to claim. So that also becomes a big challenge and a very, very disheartening, because you have worked so hard for the benefit of that depositor, but they are not coming forward to pick their money. One of the biggest things we have done is to improve on efficiency. How? We have rolled out a digital banking platform. This is a platform that allows the borrowers to make payments using their phones. Initially, the borrowers would only go to a bank and make direct transfers. So now with their phones, they're able to make payments, and that money gets to us. This is the money we will accumulate to pay depositors. Going forward, we are envisioning to use the same platform to pay depositors. So digital banking has improved on efficiency, improved on our recoveries, and saved the cost to the borrowers. And also the same platform allows depositors now to lodge their claims online. You no longer need to physically lodge your claim. This, especially during the time of COVID, when we are making some of the payments for some of the institutions, it came in handy when the papers were a no-go zone. People would upload, then we download. Then another big achievement is that during this period, we have been able to clear and make payments of 260 million to over 20,000 claimants or depositors. So what it means, if all those depositors came for their money, they would have been fully paid. But then they have not come. So during this period, we have collected money for institutions, 6 of them, and declared payments of 260 million to 20,000 depositors, who, if they come, then they'll get their money. And we are envisioning before the end of this financial year, we will declare another 3 for another 130 million. So we are seeing over 400 million would go for the benefits of these depositors. Another big achievement is that to be proactive, we have institutionalized something we call crisis management. Crisis management is where you prepare yourself. You are already on the go. That should today you are told a bank is in a problem, you just get in, take it up, and resolve it. We have tested the framework, it is working. And not only now, we have even been invited to sensitize and train other jurisdictions within the region.
KDIC, protecting your deposits.